Boo-doo-doo-doo. Tony Khan hates AEW. I said it. And I'm not taking it back. Sid, give me a moment to cook here, okay? I'm cooking, as the kids would say. I've said
Okay.
this from day one. I said it from day one, and I'm going to repeat it. Previously on KocoSports, someone makes an alternative. Bam! The alternative, right up top here, is WWE, okay? And they get close to WWE. And then someone like Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo, Hulk Hogan, Ghetto, Taz, Jim Ross, some fucking loser goes, hey, person with money that did something original and got close, to get over the edge, you have to be just like WWE. And then they fucking tank. And then they sit there and then they're like, oh no, how do we get the original fans back? And then that part's hard. Because there's people that want an alternative. And what Tony has to do is AEW is gone down. Oh, hold on. Bring. AEW fan, let me answer this. I never noticed, because you suck dick to corporations. That's why. Thank you. I got to answer this phone call sometimes, Sid. But right now, it's stuck and it's not growing. And what they are is like, oh, we're going to do the Continental Classic. We're going to go back to wrestling. But you've already lost those fans. The fans that point and laugh at you are not going to convince you. There is no way, there is no one you could sign from WWE that will take away the nipple rubbers that love corporations. But there's so many people that want an alternative, and you could fucking deliver that. And now, we're all over the place, because I think Tony Khan actually hates what AEW is, because he keeps doing sports entertainment shit. The records matter. Remember that? That's gone. We had a champion defend a belt against someone that hasn't won television in 4 years and is 0-5 on title chances. How do records matter? How do records matter? And on top of that, if Tony Storm was in WWE, every Tony Storm fan would hate the new gimmick. But because it's like, oh, all I'm saying is go back to fucking basics. Kenny Omega said it. Go back to what the original plan was. And hopefully you'll win some of those old fans back. That's what we're doing. You can't out WWE the WWE 4 or 5 years into it. It's stupid. Don't do it. Become an alternative. That's what you were supposed to be. So that's what I'm asking for. And now Tony is stuck in the old, we tried to be just like them and lost fans, and now we're stuck. Now that's when you decide if you're going to be a good businessman or not and turn it around. You also had in a press conference, you went on, oh, if you want sports style, prove by watching it. So, whoa, Tony, let me get this straight. You took off like a bat out of hell because of sports style and records matter. You fucked up by listening to Jim Ross, Taz, and the other fucking losers in the back. You come crashing down, and now we have to prove it? You've already fucking pissed on us, and now sports fans, wrestling fans have to come back and carry your ass? How about you fucking prove it to me, Tony? How about you fucking prove it to me? There you go. And Ed, what's his name? Who's the guy that used to be bald and now isn't bald? He just recently quit.
QT Marshall.
QT Marshall. I knew QT Marshall for so long that I remember when he was bald. QT Marshall's like, oh, I'm quitting because they're more like New Japan. I'm thinking that's a fucking work because they're trying to win over sports fans. Yeah, so I do find it interesting that they turned their back on wrestling fans to be more sports entertainment, and now they're challenging wrestling fans. It's like, Tony.
Well, I still
Tony.
firmly think they should retool and reassess the whole Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite thing. After Punk's gone, there needs to be a point where they're like, all right, we have 6 hours of TV. We have our core product that we were trying to do, and then we have this other one. And you should make it so that Dynamite is the core AEW style you went for, the work rate style that everyone loved AEW for, that is what AEW got known for. That's what make 8 weeks AEW's pay-per-view so good. You do that on Dynamite. You use Rampage to do all the ROH bullshit you want to put on. All your
Can I just
ROH
add
versus
something, sir?
AEW. Yeah.
I love Rampage. I want to see
All right.
titles from around the world. There was a time where Rampage was 3 title matches from CMLL, AAA, New Japan, all around the world. ROH, chef's kiss. Bring it back to that. Go on, hot tag to you, sir. I'm Team Rampage.
Okay. But I would just that's where I would put on the ROH shit. That's where I would put that. And I would make my sports entertainment product Collision. I would just make that sports entertainment oriented. It's on Saturday. It's on a day where WWE, if they're not running a pay-per-view, you're going to have their audience if you're running sports entertainment that day.
Yeah. I agree and disagree with you. And this is why I agree and disagree with you. It's kind of like what SmackDown and Raw were supposed to be. There's, outside of Paul Heyman beating Vince and getting fired, SmackDown and Raw has basically been the same show for a long, long time. I think it's going to run into that problem.
Well, I mean, the problem is it sucks now.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping. I know this is going to sound bad, but sometimes you have to take a step back to grow. I think if Tony Khan takes a step back, I don't know, it's probably impossible. I'd get rid of fucking Collision. I'd just be like, hey, it didn't work out. CM Punk won. Yay. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. And I'd also
honestly,
get smaller
if
arenas.
I were him, if I could swing it, I would try to, during the renegotiation of rights and contracts, I would try to just get Collision changed to be ROH.
Yeah, and it is an interesting time because I know they might get ECW'd. A lot of channel companies will put a smaller company on to try to get the bigger company, and Tony might be facing that situation. Either that or TBS and TNT will be 24 hours of wrestling, which, in all honesty, when it comes to television, pro wrestling for its ratings is the cheapest fucking shit in the world for them. You know, it's kind of like reality TV. The reason why reality TV gets greenlit a lot more than, you know, say sci-fi shows, it has to do with the budget. You know, it's easier to make AEW and WWE than The Last of Us and The Boys. It's just easier for them. And so that's why they have a big advantage. And if is the actor strike still going on? I know the writing strike is over, but what about the actor strike?
I don't know.
Well, I was just saying, like, that could benefit them getting television deals. But it seems like the TV things, the TV people are just waiting it out. I thought for sure all the big, I thought like the top 5 wrestling companies in America would have TV deals by now. And the fact that WWE is still fucking hunting, AEW is still hunting. I mean, NWA kind of blew it up their nose. And MLW, I haven't heard anything. Impact, I haven't heard anything. But if there's
AEW has the uphill battle of the company that hired them is not the company they're trying to get to keep them.
Yeah. That is 100% true too. Yeah, it's weird because, like, if you said, hey, man, there's going to be a writer's strike and an actor's strike in the same year, and you talk about how cheap wrestling is compared to, let's say, sports or entertainment, you think they would land a TV deal fast. But it seems like the TV stations are like, let's just wait this out. Let's just wait this out. So, who knows? Maybe it's not a good time to be a wrestling company. But, yeah. It's going to be interesting where they go and all that. All I'm saying is, Tony, no one has ever gone sports entertainment, try to go back to wrestling, and recovered. And I think that's what's on his plate. Do you think Tony can do it? Do you think, like, he can regroup and... Because I think is, for him to regroup and make his company better, he's going to have to take one on the chin. He's going to have... You know what I mean? And,
he just has to book his shows more like his pay-per-views.
Yeah. And he has to be okay with being an alternative. and he has to
And
stop
probably
hiring
stop
WWE
listening to
guys.
Jericho.
Yeah, yeah. If it's listen, if they're from WWE, it's great. Just next, I don't know. I get so angry.
No, I don't know. That's not true across the board.
No, no, no. But you
Don't
holy.
try to get a WWE guy to make them your major, big, huge signing deal. However, if you can get a WWE guy who is also going to fit in with the
Yeah.
product that you originally were going for, why not? For instance, if Sheamus ends up out of WWE, Sheamus instantly can blend into Blackpool Combat Club seamlessly
100%.
without any issue and just makes them look better. And he looks good in it and he doesn't steal from it. It doesn't go off as WWE guy coming in taking over, anything like that. And there are a couple guys like that I think they could do that with.
Uh,
But there are a lot of guys that, yeah, if you're bringing them over trying to make them the big deal, it just feels flat.
yeah, yeah. And I 100% agree with you. It depends if fit in. Like I would never have hired Edge. I would never hire
No,
JR. I would
I
never
wouldn't have
hire
hired Edge.
Taz. The Hardys would have never
JR I
made it.
get. Taz I also get.
Yeah.
Taz I think is actually good on commentary.
He is, but like he's really improved. But do you remember early Taz?
I do.
Like early Taz was this. I'm only here for my son. I wish I was with WWE. WWE is a better product, right, JR? JR's like, yeah, this fucking product sucks. Let's talk about WWE and make out. That was literally the commentary team when they
weren't
first fucking
that
matched.
bad.
They were
It
that
wasn't
fucking
great,
bad.
but
They were
they
fucking
had
lipping in each
their
other's
moments.
nipples. They were like, oh yeah. In the Fed, I once got my asshole licked by Vince. They were fucking horrible. It was disgusting. But then
was
again,
pretty
I
rough.
wouldn't have hired Mark Henry, and that would have been a huge mistake. Mark Henry is a
Yeah.
fucking
It
sweetheart.
would have been a huge mistake.
Yeah. The rest, I don't get. All right, who would you? Let's be Tony Khan for a second. I'm just gonna give my list. I would never hired Edge. I would have never hired Jim
I
Ross,
wouldn't have hired
Taz.
Edge either.
I would never
I
have
wouldn't
hired
have hired
the
Edge
Hardys.
right now, actually. I wouldn't have hired Edge right now and introduced him in the way that he did. I would have waited until Edge was on. I would have basically waited until Christian had his comeuppance and Christian was on the rocks, and that would have been when I hired Edge.
Yeah.
I would have had Edge come in then, or even had him hire him now and be like, but we're going to wait and debut it. People can know, we'll announce you're all elite, but you're not coming in for a while, whatever. But I wouldn't have brought him into the story until Christian was already on the down and outs and had him be as a pick me up, and then just had him have a great, like, wholesome, everybody cheering for him, best friends run.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think they were thinking about doing, but Christian's like, I'm way too cool for this shit.
Yeah, Christian's way too hot right now. He's
Yeah.
having one of the arguably the best run of his career
right.
now.
WWE guys that went to AEW that you would never have hired. Go.
Edge.
Edge. That's it. It starts with Edge and ends with Edge.
Unless it's like unless it's like I said, unless we had like a good scenario for him to come in on.
What about Big Show?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair? Oh Jesus.
I think Big Show's a good hire for behind the scenes reasons.
Yeah.
Big Show is an invaluable asset if you get any genuine big men, like genuine giants, genuine huge guys, even guys like Big Cass. They can learn a lot from him because he's like, I get it. Big Show was booked atrociously for a long time. It was back and forth show. He was flip flop show. But the Giant was one of the most legendary big men of all time in wrestling. And
the kids don't know. The kids don't know.
Legend of a big man.
Yeah.
And he really is great. And if he can teach that stuff, if he can share a fraction of his great knowledge that he has from that long career as one of the most long tenured big men of all time with other big men that AEW gets, that alone is worth it.
I wouldn't have hired him. Maybe one appearance as Captain Insano.
I wouldn't have hired him for any in-ring stuff. Like the Captain Insano like swimming thing, that's fucking fantastic. Stuff like that, great. That stuff, I think giving him a chance to do commentary on Dark, great. Stuff like that, where it's letting him try stuff where it's not going to hurt anything, stuff like that, or it's fun stuff, yeah. But behind the scenes, I think he's invaluable to have.
Got it.